good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Break. My name is Shai. Now, before we get on with today's topic, let me first invite everyone to please follow us here on Facebook, of course. Share this video to your friends and also tag them if you want. Invite them over. Let them know that we have a very interesting topic, especially since we are still in the middle of the pandemic, because our topic for this afternoon is about sideline, racket, fly by night, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about that because, again, we have become so much more creative whilst this pandemic has been ongoing for over a year now. And of course, let me welcome my two DJs, my two co-DJs who happen to also be rocketeers of their own. Please welcome DJs Nick and DJ Chloe. Hi.
Hey, Shai.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
I like your
Okay,
term,
dali.
rocketeer.
Dali, ano nang tinitindan ninyo? Dali.
Mauna ka na, Nick.
Nako.
Sige na. Sabihin nyo na.
Nasubukan nyo na ba ang pimiento ni Nick?
Oh, yeah. That's my
Ang sarap, no, guys. Ang sarap talaga ng pimiento ni Nick. Oo.
Yeah,
Tapos
check it out,
yung cake ni
Pamana
Chloe
Spreads.
rin.
Totoo. Totoo din naman.
Hoy, Shai, sinungaling ka. Di ka pa umu-order sa akin.
Hindi pa rin ako mag-order, actually.
Hindi, feeling ko nagda-diet to si Shai kasi tinitingnan ko siya. Hindi siya, may mga times na parang you look slimmer.
I'm
Tapos
avoiding
siguro may
sweets
times-
in general. Yun lang.
You're really, on
I'm
a
avoiding
diet.
sweets in general. No, hindi. No,
Ayun.
You're avoiding sweets.
that's not part of my vocabulary yung diet na yan.
Oh,
It's
so
really just
sweets.
avoiding sweets in general. Oo.
Yeah.
So,
Ayun.
kung meron ng sugar-free or less sugar na baked goods si Chloe, baka yun ang
Okay.
stock ko talaga sa fridge ko, gano'n. You know,
Yeah.
for the
Ayun.
conscious ones ko, no? Nakakainis. Nakakainis. But yeah, Nick has his Pamana Spreads. Chloe also has her cakes by Bea.
Beyas.
Beyas
Beyas.
cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Beyas
Beyas lang.
Okay, yun. So, you both have your own thing going on, and that's the reason why actually pinili nila ako bilang moderator dito. Sabi nila, totoo si Shai, walang binibenta. Sige, siya na lang muna. No, but I actually really do want to know your perspective on things, especially because a lot of people have become so much more creative nga because, they had to work extra hard to earn their dough during the pandemic, diba? So, let me ask you first, what are the things you should be considering when you establish a side hustle? Let's start with Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, I feel in any job or business, feeling ko importante to know that you have clients, that you have market. Yeah, yun
A
pala.
target market, ganyan.
Oo. Kasi ang mahirap ko yun kasi you want to start something, right? But if people won't buy it, medyo mahihirapan ka talaga. Lalo ngayon kasi people are very conscious with how they spend their money. So yun, you have to know if there is a need for, of course, food would always be there, diba? But for other
Top
stuff,
priority.
medyo pag-isipan mo if you have a market for it.
Mhm.
Totoo. How about you, Chloe? What are your thoughts?
I think the very first thing that you have to consider is if it's doable. Kaya mo bang gawin? And if it's something that you yourself would also buy, especially when it comes to price points. Bibilihin mo ba o iisipin mo na lang ba na binili ko na lang sana ng manok at bigas? Kasi sayang yung pera doon. Pangalawa is I think it's also very important that it's something that you love to sell
Yeah.
True.
and you love to do kung sakali man na ikaw yung gagawa ng produkto mo.
Yes, and I think to add to that, I just want to say that I think a couple of things you'll have to consider is also sustainability of it. Na yun nga, like what Chloe said, na kung kaya mo bang gawin siyang araw-araw, diba? And aside from that, you also have to remember that you're not going to be working in 9 to 5 time frame. You're going to be working 24/7, maybe even 28/7. The point is, you're going to be working more than the usual hours that you're used to. So talagang walang pahinga usually ang mga sa sideline, mga nag-side hustle, diba? So for those who are planning, for those who are thinking about it, yes, I would like you guys to consider all of these things. And of course, especially coming from Nick and Chloe, kasi nga, experts na sila dyan. Mga veterano na sila dyan during this pandemic. Okay, well,
Kailangan
diba? We all have to do what we have to do to be able to put food on the table.
Yes.
So, for those who want to nga, I totally get why. Hindi lang siya, sige lang, try natin. Parang ganun, diba? Before the pandemic, ganun yung mga thoughts ng tao. What if mag-sideline kaya ako? What if I do an extra racket here and there? Pangdagdag lang yun. But this time, it is such an essential. So, yeah. Now, what are your tips for finding the right kind of side hustle for you? Because, of course, for example, not everyone can bake like Chloe, right? Not everyone like myself can do that. So obviously I wouldn't be doing that if I want to do something like that. So what are your tips for finding the right kind of side hustle, Chloe?
I think magsimula ka sa what is needed at this time. So very common essential ngayon is essential.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the food.
Yeah.
What else? Something that has to do with sanitation. Yung mga ganung bagay. If you can do delivery, why not, diba? Kung lalaki ka at may motor ka, pwede ka mag-side hustle ng delivery. What else? Parang at this point in time, hindi natin kailangan yung pride na, although minsan dumarating ka sa point na, pagod ako, hindi naman kasi dapat ganito kasi may trabaho naman talaga ako, but I have to be doing this because wala kailangan natin talagang maghanap ng extra income. So, yun, yung tips ko, makiramdam ka muna. Kasi mahirap din naman na gawa ka ng kung ano-ano. Remember, every time you're trying something new, gumagastos ka para doon.
Truth, investment.
Even with baking, yes. Marami rin naman akong nasayang na harina, naging bato, yung binake ko, naging lugaw. Or, di ba, yung mga ganung bagay. So, pag-isipan mo munang ng mabuti. Find your strength. Kung ano yung strength mo, saan ka ba tingin mo mag-e-excel? Kaya mo bang, say for example, on my part, sige, kaya ko tong aralin. Kasi ako naniniwala naman ako, lahat ng bagay pwede nating matutunan unless hindi mo interest yan. So if it's not your interest, hindi mo talaga yan matututunan. So that's number 1 tip. And of course, kailangan kapalan mong mukha mo, kailangan mo talaga mag-umpisa ka sa mga kaibigan mo at mga kakilala mo. Kasi ano yan if you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
Yeah.
So kung hindi ka magtatanong, hindi talaga sila bibili sa'yo kasi hindi naman nila, baka mamaya nahihiya lang din silang magtanong sa'yo, baka mamaya iniisip nila mahal kasi pinost mo. So ikaw na yung mag-reach out and also ask for referrals. O baka may kakilala si ganyan na mahilig din sa ganyan, then yung mga ganong bagay ba, kapalan na lang talaga ng mukha.
Totoo yan, totoo. Actually, on the note of kapalan ng mukha, naalala ko, and yung kapalan ng mukha at wala nang hiya-hiya, kasi nga sabi mo nga, we have this pride. I remember during the start of the pandemic, so many pilots, flight attendants, or managerial positions, ayun, they had to be laid off. And what did they do? Ayun, naging delivery boy, delivery girl. They started doing their own business at home and ng sobrang small scale. Yung iba naging TikToker, so great for them. But yeah, it really does pay off to have to put your pride aside. And just know that, kailangan mo talaga mag-hustle. That's why it's called a side hustle. But anyway, how about you, Nick? What are your tips for that?
True. I think even, sabi mo nga, diba, during this pandemic, people thought about like side hustling. I feel like even before that, we should have, yun yung na-realize ko, we should have thought about it even way before. Na hindi tayo makaka-rely talaga just on our
one source of income.
We have to diversify. Kasi na-realize ko ngayon, sobrang in a snap of a finger, diba, you could lose your job, your business could just fail, and dapat as much as possible you explore possibilities. Like I think in relation to what Miss Chloe said, yung paghahanap ng need ng mga tao, that's important. But apart from that, I think this was also mentioned, you have to make sure that you're also enjoying what you're doing.
Yes.
Kasi if it's not something that you enjoy doing, sobrang hindi talaga magiging fruitful.
You're gonna be dragging your feet.
Correct.
Totoo.
It's going to be added work na dapat hindi. Kasi nga your side hustle must be something light, but also something that will, give you more money.
Yung hindi ka nahihiyang ialok.
Yun.
Kumbaga,
Tama.
kailangan. And going back dun sa sinasabi mo nga, Nick, na dapat noon pa talaga meron tayong ibang source of income or may ibang source ng cash flow. Noon naman kasi ang side hustle natin, sarili natin. Remember, we do a lot of hostings.
Yes.
Yeah, totoo. Totoo. Yeah, so that's also something that you could do. Diba? Like, may mga virtual events ngayon.
Huwag mo na sila sabihan yan. Ano ba? Trabaho na natin yan. Mawalan pa tayo ng
The pay
raket
is not
online.
so good. Pero okay na rin, diba? Yung
Guys, hindi
pride
maganda,
niya
guys. Hindi maganda, guys.
Oo nga, ang baba-baba.
Hindi
lang yan.
discourage talaga.
Nakapagod pa.
Oo, sayang lang.
Kailangan malakas internet
Oo,
mo.
kung blackout, paano na? Huwag na kayo.
Oo, sira ka sa kliyente mo.
Oo, diba? Huwag na, guys.
Diba?
Wag na lang
We're not
mag-start.
able to
Di ba't mo sinabi? Ate, ano eh?
Sorry.
Actually, you know what? On that note, I'm also really glad that everybody has been very supportive of other people. Like, for example, tayo lang, let's say sa MBC,
Yes.
we all have, I mean, you guys kasi wala pala ako, you guys have all something to sell, di ba? And everyone is just so supportive of each other. Wala namang, ganyan rin tinda ko, ba't niya naisip na ganyan rin tititinda niya, mga ganun. Wala namang ganun eh. So, when I see friends supporting other friends, kahit pareho yung mga binibenta, or similar binibenta, that just goes to show how, how helpful we are with each other. Na parang we're putting our pride and negativity aside kasi we all know how difficult things are at the moment, di ba?
Yes.
I agree.
So, push nyo lang yan, guys. Support each other, and it doesn't really hurt to, I mean, if you can, for example, like ako with Chloe na hindi pa rin ako nakakabili hanggang ngayon, it doesn't hurt to just tell your friends about it, you share to other people na, ay, itong friend ko si Chloe may ganito, ganyan, si Nick may spreads, ganito, ganyan, diba? Even if you cannot buy their products, but that's another tip for another day. Sorry, let's go. Natatouch lang talaga ako sa mga napapanood ko or nakikita. But anyway, back to this side hustling. We're employees. You guys are employees also, and we're very grateful that we still have a job and we have a company that really supports us throughout this pandemic. But what other benefits does side hustling give to an employee aside from the obvious, which is getting extra moolah, getting extra cash? Like, what do you feel are the benefits of a person who uses more of their free time just to work some more?
Right.
Nick?
Yeah. Yung fact lang na you're doing something else. Kasi diba before, we have all the time in the world. Or our time is getting eaten by the heavy traffic. Alam mo yun, parang feeling natin wala tayong masyadong oras. But because we're stuck at home, we try to be more creative about things. Na-realize ko yun with my mom most especially because she's the one making the spreads. And then she told me na parang imbis nga daw na ma-stress siya sa news, feeling niya wala na rin siyang oras para ma-stress kasi she's very busy working on the spread. So in a way, it helps your mental health too. Diba? Na-occupy yung yung senses mo, hindi ka na overwhelmed sa mga nangyayari sa labas. Yung anxiety mo medyo nawawala in a way.
Actually, that's the number one benefit of it. Kasi it takes the same amount of stress to worry and to do extra things na gagawin mo, 'di ba? Parehas nakakaisip ka, aligaga ka na and all.
Yeah.
Pero even if when you're doing something like ako nung December, yun talaga yung season na maraming orders ng cakes. I don't mind waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Tapos gagawin ko yon. I was doing that every day. Kasi kailangan ko siya. 4 o'clock in the morning talaga. Tapos kaysa magising ako, di ba, pag may anxiety ka, minsan magigising ka 4-5.
Yeah.
Baka naman gagawin, tutunga nga kapag tingin mo sa
9 o'clock
pas mo ng YouTube, makikita mo yung mga news. Di ba? Pero ito, at least, kung busy-busy ka, number one talaga, malaki siyang tulong. Gamot talaga siya sa anxiety.
Yeah.
Hindi ka idle. Yun.
Yun, hindi ka idle. And at least you finally get to do something that you enjoy, di ba? Of course, work is fun for a lot of people, but it's not the pinaka-passion, pinaka-thing that makes you happy in life. Parang ganun, di ba? So of course, we're grateful that you would be grateful you have a job but there's something else that would make you happier, and it's probably what you're doing as a side hustle, diba? And of course, we do acknowledge that not everyone is lucky enough to have both a regular job and a side hustle. Yes, of course, for other people, the side hustle is actually their main source of income right now, and we know that that's also very important to you. I just wanted to ask Nick and Chloe about yun nga yung being both an employee and a side hustler, Anyway, so moving on, why do you feel that side hustling, having your own racket, having another source of income is more important now than ever? More than ever, it's another important thing that you have to think of. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, Chloe.
Number one, it helps with the bills. So it's something that you really have to consider na mag side hustle talaga. It helps with the bills. It helps with your mental health. It opens door. It's opening doors for you na you get to know na there are still other things that I can do pala. Na naiisip ko nga, when things go back to normal, which I hope very, very soon, magkita-kita na tayo,
yes.
Naiisip ko na, siguro kung wala akong hosting, aasikasuhin ko na lang magbenta ng cakes. So, parang marami na ako naiisip. Like, for example, I'll get in touch with some people I know and probably they would need cakes for their coffee shop. Yung mga ganong bagay. So, it opens doors for you and nadidevelop yung additional know-how mo sa buhay. Yun. And yun, kaya mo palang magbenta. Diba? Marangal naman siya. So, yun.
Totoo. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, yung sabi natin kanina, like apart from realizing na kailangan nga natin ng other sources. Other sources of income. This is also the perfect time for you to discover yourself. No matter how deep that sounds. But kasi 'di ba, baka ngayon mo ma-realize, shucks, I'm feeling the burnout at work. Siguro nag-enjoy lang ako before kasi nasa office ako, nakikipagtsikahan ako sa mga workmates ko. But this is not where I want to go. This is not where I want to be. So your side hustles could also help you with that. Kasi baka magaling ka pala with video editing. Baka magaling ka palang mag-podcast editor or whatever. It is important now to rediscover yourself because of your side hustles too.
Yes. For all you know, it could be a redirection for you.
Correct.
Diba na parang dati ito lang yung alam mo. Tulad natin, di ba, wala tayong alam talaga, radyo. Yeah. Sabi ko nga, if I die, magmumulto ako sa booth. Kasi like all my life, yun lang
nasa radyo lang. Totoo.
Pero ngayon, like, I mean, who could ever imagine, sabi nga ng sister-in-law ko, Bebe, hindi ka nga nagluluto.
Yeah, that's also true.
Diba?
Wait, but you used to bake talaga before?
No,
Shai. I really just
I wanted to. Kaya lang sa baryo, wala namang, it's for the elite. Tama ba ang pronunciation ko? Para sa mga elitista yun. Saan ka naman? Noon pa lang, binasa mo half and half. Saan ka? What is half and half? Diba? Tapos meron palang mga unsweetened chocolate. Ang alam lang naman natin, chocolate, yung mga, the chocolates. So, parang walang opportunity para mag-aral ka. And noon, pagka mag-aaral ka ng baking, wow, kailangan may extra ka talagang pera. Kasi mahal, di ba?
Yeah.
But gone were the days na gano'n. Ngayon, pag hindi mo pa matutunan yan, sa dami ba naman ng pagpipilian mo dyan, sa alam nyo na kung anong source, na university, di ba? Cum laude din na yata ako.
Yeah.
Yan. Guys, it's so much easier to learn things now kahit walang magtuturo sa'yo. It's so much easier to be self-taught.
Correct.
Yes.
You get to learn so much. And yeah, even if you have, Chloe claims wala siyang alam, pero with how well she's doing now, I highly doubt it. Pero
wala talaga.
Diba? So it just goes to show that even if you know nothing about a certain topic, but you have an interest in that, you could really start something. You could really get yourself going on, And I know one of the biggest hindrances for a lot of people naman talaga is investment. Kung sa gusto, kung sa siguro may mga kaibigan to start marketing to, I'm sure meron naman yan, or it's easier. That's the easier part. But it's for a lot of people, it's the initial investment that's difficult, kasi syempre kaya nga gusto nila mag side hustle kasi wala ng pera, di ba? So where will they get that? So I also really do hope that you guys have friends who will support you money-wise, investment-wise.
True. Nag-start naman ako sa kaldero na nilagyan ko lang ng rack. So, dry heat lang muna. So, naghanap ako ng malalaking kaldero. Tapos, dry heat lang muna. Then, bumili ako ng steamer. Inabot ako ng alas 4 ng umaga kaka-steam. Tapos, hindi ko siya na-appreciate kasi pag ini-steam mo pala ang cake, you can't smell it. Ngayon, nagbe-base na lang ako sa sense of smell ko. Pagkaalam ko ng bake na siya sa oven kasi naaamoy ko na siya. So, I don't need to test it anymore. Sometimes tinetest ko pa. Sabi nga nila, share ko lang to ha. An education that will give you a living, but self-education will give you a fortune. Kahit hindi na fortune, makasustain is more than enough, diba?
Let's not be greedy at this time, guys. Kung ano makukuha natin, let's be happy na lang talaga. Let's not, demand for more at this time. Of course, it's not bad to reach for the stars, have a goal. But for now, basta it pays the bills, puts food on the table, let's just reach for that at least muna ngayon, di ba? Now, I want to talk about this. We mentioned earlier, we've all had our sidelines before. Actually, feel ko ako makakapagkwento dito. Mostly pala. We've all had our rackets before. Again, the hosting thing, the voiceover, stuff like that. So, those were our main side hustle and nawala siya drastically or at least sobrang na-limit siya drastically because again the pandemic, our source of income is talking to a crowd and of course we're not allowed to have crowds right now, so that's definitely gone. So how were we able to cope with that? Let me start. Ako naman ngayon.
Please.
Go.
Hindi na ba? Actually, I really just try to focus on social media na lang. Try to focus on the main job. That's the thing about us kasi, here in MBC at least, is because we're radio people, we also do social media na rin now because it's 2020, it's 2021 rather, di ba? So, parang feel ko for me, I try to focus more there na lang because that's the only thing I could do when there wasn't much other opportunity. So, for everyone else, I would also imagine that that's one thing you could do na focus on what you can do right now, like the side hustle or focus on doing better on your work, ganon. But if it's such a drain to you mentally, then I'm sorry, I'm not the good person to help you out there. How about Nick? What were your thoughts when yun nga nawala yung pag-host mo?
Hindi ko alam kung paano babayaran yung rent. Honestly, no time na yun, I was, gosh, it was just good. Parang it was good timing that yung mga backlog na our talent fees, kahit pa paano we were able to receive them, and I'm grateful for that. Pero sobrang concerned ako noon kasi I had to leave, but I needed to stay dito sa Makati kasi nga alam ko na feeling ko magiging okay tayo agad, but it didn't. Nandito pa rin tayo. So lang nasa isip ka, how will I make rent? Diba? Dati kahit na I'm receiving kahit small TF lang din for PBA, it used to help me a lot. And now I can't do that because even them, na-stressed na for the team that I got to be close with na rin. Kasi they also lost their jobs kasi nga wala nang live events, diba? So how was I able to cope with that? Luckily, some of my friends reached out na, may hosting na ganito, ganyan. While most of them are pro bono, yung mga tinanggap ko na pro bono, they linked me to others who eventually paid kahit na konti. At least it helped me with, paying the bills and rent. So, yun, just doing all the work, wag lang maging idle as much as possible. And eventually, you will find the rackets that related pa rin naman kahit pa paano with what we used to do. Hindi nga lang live.
Yeah, totoo. Yeah. And you, Chloe, how did you feel na nawala yung mga racket natin?
Nakakalungkot. Siyempre. Kasi may mga na-cancel akong kasal, mga, what do you call this, corporate events. So, Ano mo na yun parang sa atin kinikwenta na natin yun come next month may papasok. So alam na natin meron tayong pera. Pero what
Sakit
can we do
natin
nga?
yan, no?
Oo, talagang affected talaga, sobra. Kaya lang nandiyan na yan Tama naman yung sabi ni Shai, she focused on social media. So at this point in time, we really just have to work with what we have.
Yeah.
Start with what you can do, what you know na gawin, and what you have. So, yun, sa akin, nag-focus na lang din sa social media, naging mas very active with doing Facebook Lives, and of course it's a good thing na meron pa tayong trabaho, and we're blessed to also have this kind of medium na meron tayong mga pages natin. So when I started my side hustle, nakatulong din siya. Kasi meron na rin ako mga naging friends na likers or followers ng page ko. Tapos naging friends ko na sila, and hindi ko talaga sila kilala, and umorder sila sa akin. So malaking tulong yun.
Yeah.
Diba?
That's great. Oh, I think blessed din tayo sa part na we have our DJ pages, our DJ alternative lives
Yes.
to help us out, with our side hustle. But again, that is a privilege for us. I know we acknowledge that not everyone has that kind of privilege. So kudos to you guys for really working your butts off in, again, providing for your family. Now, as someone who still has an active side hustle like your Pamana Spreads and your cakes, what is your advice to those who also want to do it but are scared to compromise their full-time jobs? Kasi you guys are doing that Okay, Chloe.
Pag gusto mong gawin ng isang bagay and meron kang malaking reason kung bakit kailangan mo siyang gawin, hahanapan mo siya ng paraan. You're really just going to find the time and find a way to do it. On my part, of course, I'm a breadwinner. So, kailangan ko siyang gawan ng paraan. For those who are thinking about hindi nila pwedeng pabayaan yung full-time job nila, probably they're still getting more than enough. So, hindi pa rin nila makonsider na magsimula ng side hustle. Pero guys, kung may full-time job ka at stay at home ka naman, hindi naman 24 hours ang trabaho. Diba? In fact, may mga blessing ang pag-stay at home na working from home. Although, feeling mo minsan parang palagi kang on call. Pero, hindi naman lahat ng oras kakainin nun sa'yo. So, you just have to find the time. Meron din namang Sabado at Linggo at meron din namang gabi. Pag gusto mo talaga, meron talagang paraan.
At pag kailangan na kailangan talaga, gagawan mo ng paraan.
Money is for me, it's the biggest motivator. Pera talaga.
Totoo. We don't want to sound greedy, but it's true, guys. Totoo talaga.
Totoo naman talaga. At yun nga, ito lang. I'm sorry to cut you off, Shai. Nasaanay tayo na sa hosting kasi ganito yung TF. So, masaya, diba? With selling, like my cakes, they come in small, amounts.
It does not pay as much as we used to get. Ganon. Yun na lang.
Pero nung nakita ko na, and tinotal ko, and kasi, paano ko ba sasabihin? Hindi ko kasi inisip yung kikitain ko nung una. Inisip ko lang gusto ko siyang gawin. Tapos tuwan-tuwa ako pagka message mo, at sarap-sarap kanya. Okay na sa akin yun. Tawang-tawa na ako kasi, oh my God, kinain nila. So parang masarap yung ginawa ko. So hindi ko talaga inisip yung kikitain ko. Pero nung umupo ako, tapos ito yung expenses, ito yung kinita ko, oh my God, nakabayad ako ng tuition, na-enroll ko pa. Si Achi. O diba? So sabi ko, ay, seryoso kayo na natin to, career na to.
That's good. And I'm really hoping that everyone else who's planning to do side hustles would also get to feel that way soon. And how about you, Nick? What's your advice or your thoughts for those who want to try but are scared to compromise their full-time jobs?
Yeah, first of all, don't compromise your full-time job.
True. Totoo yan. Agree.
I mean, some people kasi they say, diba, if example, yung business nila nag-grow na, sige, let go na. Pero if you're starting, diba, I don't really advise you to jump the gun. Is that the right term for that? Alam mo yun, wag kang padalos-dalos. Yun, wag kang padalos-dalos. Kasi you need to make sure that your cash flow is still okay. Kasi stressful yun eh. Kapag na-feel mo na wala ka ng enough to get by every month. So yun yung last na dapat mong maisip. Kasi pag naisip mo na yon, medyo mahihirapan ka na maging creative, like hindi mo na, alam mo yun. So yun, don't compromise your full-time job, especially if you are earning naman. Kung hindi na delay yung sahod, be grateful for it and just do it. Yun.
Kaya nga siya side hustle, di ba?
Sorry.
Yun. Tsaka kaya nga siya side hustle. Kasi meron ka pang main.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Kaya nga siguro late ako nag-start. Actually, nag-start ako November na eh. November 13 to be exact. Kasi at the start of the pandemic, meron tayong trabaho at kailangan nating ma-establish yung work routine natin sa trabaho natin.
Ito.
Kasi sobra tayong naalog ng bongga. Diba? Yun.
Ayun. Well, thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for letting our viewers know a bit of the ins and outs of having a side hustle whilst being a full-time employee while still retaining a full-time job. And yes, I really totally agree with Nick na habang may trabaho ka ba, do not take that for granted because again, a lot of people would kill to still have a job and not to have to, work 24 hours a day just to be able to put food on the table. So, keep your full-time job kung pwede. Sorry, let me just say also, kasi there's also yung mga leap of faith, yung mga leap of faithers pala, yung mga, you know what, I need to put my full attention into this side hustle na gusto ko na gawing full-time. I have to let go of my job even if it's gonna be a risk. May mga ganun eh. Siguro, I don't know if you guys took yung mga insurance exams na yung mga risk assessment. Kasi apparently yung risk ko daw is medyo playing safe na ako lang. I mean, I'm sort of in the playing safe area and I feel Nick and I are there, not sure with Chloe. Parang takot tayong tumalon. We're scared to take the leap of faith. So that's us though, and that's what we advise. But for those who feel like you've got the confidence, you've got the guts to be able to pull it off, go ahead. And as always, panindigan mo na talaga yung decision mo.
Yeah,
whether that's really sticking to your full-time job and not doing a side hustle or just finally making your side hustle your full-time job. Whatever you guys want to do, panindigan nyo lang talaga. And always hope for the best and expect the worst.
Yeah.
Ay, ganun.
Kung kaya mo namang balansehin, why not? Pero may mga tao kasi na walang talent sa multitasking talaga.
Totoo.
Yeah.
True, there you go, guys. So if you want to side hustle, if you want to just stick to your full-time job, if you want to play safe, it's like Nick and I. Go ahead. We won't judge as long as, again, you get to provide for your family. May nag-comment nga pala dito na having a side racket is important para just in case something happens. Ito nga yan. Sabi nga na second source of income or another source of income. And lalo na ngayon na may mga job na lalo pat may mga job ngayon na kapag naka-ECQ hindi sila nakakapagtrabaho.
Yeah.
As we all know,
yes. Nakalungkot.
Change. The situation can just change just like that. Ito na lang, for example, kasi nga I moved to a new place, diba? So, magpapaduplicate sana ako ng susi. Apparently, for an entire week, yung gawaan ng susi dito, it's been closed. For 2 weeks pala because nga nag-ECQ kasi hindi sila essential. So, for 2 weeks, no work, no pay sila. Diba? So, that's why, guys, it's a really good idea to have a side hustle, to have a part-time thing going on. Online man yan, or you really have to work your butt off, whatever that is. Kaya niyo. We believe in you. You've got your jocks here in Easy Rock to help you out with the confidence portion.
Yeah, not with giving money though.
Not with giving money, not with investment. But sometimes, you know what I do? I ask them to post their businesses sa comment section or their vlog kung meron man. Kasi a lot of people start to do vlogging and all that. So like, kumbaga, guys, sige na, plug nyo na mga gusto nyo i-plug dito sa comment section. Parang ganun. Just to help out somehow kung pwede ba. Wala lang. Our little way of helping you guys out kung paano man yun lang. Anyway, thank you for this conversation, Nick and Chloe. Parang naisip ko tuloy kumuha ng cake na may Pamana spread. Para maiba, di ba? Spreads, cake, common na yan eh. Pagawa ako ng side hustle ko ng cake na may palaman ng Pamana Spreads.
Cake na may frosting ng Pamana Spreads.
Okay, Shai. Wag na lang kaya. But thank you again for that. I hope that you guys are tuned in right now or watching. I hope that you were able to pick up some tips, ideas, and your worries were lessened somehow because of the insight of Chloe and Nick. And if you want more insightful stuff, or at least just enjoy the good stuff like the good music and the good conversations, we've got that covered, of course, through our shows on air. We have Sam in the morning with her Heyday, and of course we have Chloe.
Yes, followed by me, Chloe, at 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I do have my segment, that's Daily Dose of Wisdom. That's every 12:20 noontime. And of course, hashtag Chloe Asks. I post questions every day on my page.
Ang controversial ng mga tanong mo, ha?
Sinusugod na nga ako lagi ng mga ano.
Actually,
minsan hindi ko naman naiisipan, ay, ganun ba? Leading ba sa ano? I'm not very political. Pero siguro what is in the heart comes out of the post.
Yeah.
Nakikita mo yung true colors yun ng mga nagko-comment, no? Minsan.
You can tell a lot about a person by the way they answer the question. So, yun.
And of course, we have Nick's show.
Go ahead, Nick.
That's from 2 p.m. till 6. My segment, of course, is Nick Picks. So that's our daily poll of the day. I'm very political, but I don't post it. I'm kidding. Of course, I also want to stream very soon, hopefully. So we'll play games and we'll just have fun, hopefully very, very soon. And of course, after me, Shai.
I just chill in the background, play some good tunes for you. Chika lang here and there with, of course, the music of Light All Night. And don't forget to please, again, follow us on our social media accounts. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube, of course. Just search for Easy Rock Manila. And that is it for today's episode of Coffee Break. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And of course, thank you again, Nick and Chloe, for joining me today.
Thank you, Shai. Thanks, Chloe.
All right.
We'll see you guys
Thank you.
next time. Bye.
Bye.